let's talk about the importance of about pages and the best practices that you need to know about in order to design an effective about page that is user-centric. If you remember, back at the beginning of course, we talked about user-centered design, that we want to design web pages that appeal to those that we want to appeal to. So when they come to our page, their needs are met and they will stay and read and find value in what we're doing on the website, as well as maybe go to other pages within that website. So it's important that we talk about what are the best practices for websites. And first of all, let's just start out with saying that after the home page, the next most popular page on websites are usually the About page. So if somebody makes it to the home page and they haven't hopped off somewhere else, the place they're most likely to go next is the About page. And so we want to create an About page that works for us. And I have to say that a lot of About pages do not work for the brand or the person who has created it. All too often, we will find about pages that have kind of a stock headshot of a person and a really boring, minimal biography of a person. Or maybe if it's a business, we'll see, let's say it's a bricks and mortar business, so it's a store that exists within a building. We'll see a picture of the building and a short history of that business. Now that's not interesting. That really doesn't do much to inspire us unless there's something really unique about that building. I mean, let's say if it's in a building in San Francisco and it's a pink Victorian house from the 1880s. Okay, yeah, let's put that picture in there on an about page. But if it's just a general blah building you'd see anywhere, that's not going to work for us. And similar, if it's a person, we don't want just a professional headshot in many cases. We want a shot that shows some kind of personality and, better yet, the person involved in whatever service they're offering. So if it's a page for a photographer, we want to see them with a camera. We don't want just that headshot. If it is somebody who is a journalist or a speaker, let's see them in front of a camera so that we get an idea of what it is that they do. Now, of course, can a formal headshot work in some cases? Yeah, I suppose so. Let's say you have a personal branding website for somebody who is pitching themselves to be at a very high level in management. Maybe a professional headshot would be expected. However, I would probably prefer to see this person at standing in front of a round table with a bunch of employees around that table, with that person kind of talking to them animatedly. But, anyway, so we want to make our homepage interesting for our user. All right, so communication strategies. Just as overall, what do we need to think about? First of all, we need to think about what the goals of an about page are. We need to decide how we will design it to meet those goals. And we need to use visual hierarchy to lead the eye throughout that page and through separate topics. We should be using rows and columns. And remember that more important information needs to be highlighted in some way, such as maybe it's larger or bolder or more colorful. But overall, your page, your about page, should establish a connection with the user. And your tone and the values expressed on this about page should resonate with the ideal user. So when your ideal user comes to this page, your ideal user says, yes, this is a company that understands me. Yes, this is a photographer that would understand me. Yes, this is a t-shirt company that designs the kind of t-shirts I love. So we want to form a connection with that ideal user. So how do we do that? Well, these are the basic ways we'll talk about today. There are more ways, but these are the main ways I want to talk about. We have to do something to get attention. We need to include storytelling. We need to give an introduction. We need to establish credibility. We need to have a USP, that's a unique selling proposition. And we'll talk more about this, but basically the USP is, what does this website or brand or person have that other similar brands, businesses, people don't? So if you're a photographer, what makes you uniquely different than other photographers? And then we should have some type of call to action. Now we'll talk about each of these in order. Let's talk about getting attention. And we want to have a headline to get attention right at the top of the page. And we've already talked about this when it comes to home pages, that we want to have some type of hero section at the beginning. So we're getting attention, a headline, and some type of image that people can really understand and relate to who you, your brand, your company, whatever is. And the headline, keep them short, 8 words or less ideally. And this, we should try to be a little bit clever, use unique wording. This is not the time to write the name of a company in all caps with a 60-point font. We want to have something more clever than that. Now, I am going to use one particular website today and use their About page to give you examples of everything I'm going to talk about. So I know in a lot of videos I'll bring out, 3, 4, 10 websites to give examples from. This one, I'm just using one particular website because they've hit a lot of really good areas with their About page. And let me tell you a little bit about the company that we're going to be talking about. And it is called The Right to Shower. And it is a company that creates soap and shampoo type products, and they sell them. So that's their business model. But they're also a company that has a major focus of providing facilities and products to people who are experiencing homelessness. So it's this idea that even people without a home have a right to have a shower. So they can bring portable facilities to different places, and then people can get showers. All right, so that's the basic company that it is. So let's look at that hero section where they're getting our attention on the first page. Oh, and by the way, I became aware of this company when a student did a project in another class with them, and she chose this to create a full kind of hypothetical advertising campaign for them. And I thought it was really interesting, and when I went to their website, it was quite well laid out, and that's what made me decide to use this particular website. All right, so this is our getting attention. We have a photo at the top. We have kind of an active scene here. We have a young girl, maybe teenage would be my guess, and she looks to be kind of in a setting talking to people, but it's kind of what we call an active picture. Again, it's not a headshot of somebody smiling into the camera. There's something about it that seems, I don't know, kind of normal, I suppose, but also engaging. We have a headline, bringing showers and dignity to the streets. And I also like that they chose a fairly young person for this, because it might dispel the idea that someone who does not have a house is going to be, I think there's sometimes a myth or a stereotype that this kind of person would be maybe in their 30s to 60s, maybe an alcoholic or a drug addict, somebody who's made really bad choices. But this is trying to get the idea that we also have young people, and it might not be about choices. So I thought this was a good note to get attention to start out with here. So the second thing that a good About page should do is to do some storytelling. Use a narrative so that the reader wants to know more. So if they start to read your body copy, they're entranced. They want to know what else happens. Again, that they feel some connection and relationship. Now, how long should this storytelling be? Well, this is one of those things in communication. Use as much as you need, but no more or no less. So this could be short. It could be 1 or 2 sentences where you can kind of quickly encapsulate a story, or it could be longer. And sometimes photos can tell a story. And this is one of the reasons why we avoid generic headshots, because sometimes you don't have to write copy to storytell. Sometimes just the photos you choose are storytelling. So let me give you the example from this particular website. So we have this row, and this comes right after that hero section. And you'll notice that we have the section where it's broken into 2 columns. They alternate where the picture and where the text is. And this is a very common way to organize a row in web design. All right, so we have shower for Wrench. And what it says, Wrench was the head pit technician for one of the biggest names in motor racing. He has traveled the world, racing in North and South America, Europe, and East Asia. He's also living on the streets. After a sudden stroke in 2005, he was unable to work after a lifetime of building engines and lost his home, which means, along with 550,000 other Americans, he often has nowhere to shower. We're working to change that. So you can see with storytelling, again, we're getting this idea of an individual. And it's not, again, about somebody who's made bad choices, but somebody who's at a negative place in their life. This makes, hopefully, that ideal user want to know more about perhaps this particular company, and will continue to read. And so they'll continue with that. So the storytelling provides a sense of empathy, and probably, at least for me, it provided a sense of respect for the company and the thought process into it. All right, let's talk about the third thing a good about page should do. And that is to give that introduction of letting users know what the purpose of the website is, the purpose of the brand. So we don't leave this page kind of confused about who you are, who your brand is. And this is often expressed in terms of a mission or a vision statement. And it's fine to have a row that's just our mission or our vision, or you could have both. You could have our mission and our vision, and they could have different sets of copy. So that's okay to do, but I wouldn't put it at the very top. That's not interesting and engaging. That doesn't get our attention in the hero section. So we need to pop it down just a little bit lower. It's not like it has to be the third row on an about page. I think just as long as mission and vision is not your hero section, that top row, that's the only point I would make here. But let's look at the hero section, not the hero section, the intro section for this website. And so we have our mission. So we started the right to shower because we believe access to cleanliness is a fundamental human right. And interesting, I've just noticed for the first time there is a typo there, because they say we believe access to cleanliness if a fundamental human right. But, this is why we need to proof our copy very carefully. All right, so this is their mission. They've talked about things, and let's get down to the last paragraph. We've crafted a range of products with the absolute best ingredients, sourced responsibly, and formulated with care. And we're using the profits to help ensure that everyone has access to a shower every day. So we understand a little bit more about them and their mission. And if you notice, we have a call to action button here, which is great. So we've talked navigability when we're talking home pages. It's the same on any page we design. We should have multiple pages for us to be able to, if you're a user, to be able to navigate to other parts of the website. There's another aspect to this website where they're giving more introduction, and this is their pledge. And here, this is where they tell you we commit 30% of our profits to mobile shower initiatives that help people currently experiencing homelessness. So we get a little bit more information here as well. So the fourth area that an about page should accomplish is to provide some level of credibility. So you need to build your authority level here by listing some type of information that builds credibility. Now, in some cases, this could be awards or certifications, news articles, other websites. If it's a nonprofit, what businesses are you working with? If you're a business, you could be bringing in your reviews from Google or Yelp. You could have a quote from a past customer. This doesn't have to be difficult. This doesn't have to be flashy. So you could, like I said, you could just have a quote from somebody who's worked with you or your brand, your business in the past. But something that builds a level of credibility could also be built by talking about how much experience the person, brand, business has. So this is a business that has been in existence for, we've served the greater Chattanooga area for 49 years. Something like that. That's fine. Or with 9 years in auto repair, John and Jane Doe know how to fix your car. So anyways, that we can give that level of credibility as well. And it also could be something that's visual. So again, this is where that if you have a picture of a person doing something, that also conveys credibility. Like, this isn't the first time this person has taken photographs. This isn't the first time these two people have repaired cars. So think of it in lots of ways like that. But let me show you what they've done on this page. So they were building credibility with listing their partners. And so they have a section, and it's actually longer than this. I just took one screenshot of it, but they have a section where they list a number of the different partners that they work with. All right, unique selling proposition. What is it that your brand, business, person does that's different than everyone else? Why do you or your organization stand out from the competition? Why should I come to your auto repair store? Why should I buy your t-shirt? Why should I donate to your nonprofit? Why should I, the user, care about you? Because sometimes users, we're just looking to buy maybe the cheapest something, the cheapest object. But if there's a reason of why I shouldn't buy the cheapest, that if your ceramic pottery is handcrafted and it's an art piece as opposed to just a pot, then you can tell us about that. Tell us about your process. With this particular site, this is how they kind of give their unique selling proposition, is they kind of take in a timeline. So with every product you buy, shower you take, you help support charities that build mobile shower units to help people living on the streets, and then check out our products. So here, they're telling you that they're not asking you to volunteer with them. They're not asking you to donate money. They just want you to buy their shampoo or soap, and that will help people that are experiencing homelessness. And then the link again that it's navigable is really important. So that's their unique selling proposition. I think it's clear. And if I were a little concerned that they were maybe kind of low-key greedy and like asking for donations and maybe taking money from me, that concern kind of leaves me here because I see they're not asking me to just donate money. All they're asking me to do is to buy their shampoo, their soap, and that will help people. All right, so let's look at the last thing we're going to talk about with an about page is that we want to have a call to action. And of course, we want more than one call to action on any page. We want to easily give our users something to do next. So a CTA is what we call it in a web speak call to action button. All right, so we want to have a CTA, and maybe it's that if they click on this button, they can download something. Maybe if they click on this button, they'll go to your store and can buy something. Maybe if they click on this button, it will take them to another page and they'll learn something different. So we want to have multiple call to action buttons. Again, make it easy for people to go from place to place. All right, so let's look at this particular website, and they have them all over. I have just grabbed out a couple of them to mention. So here, if you see, we have a call to action. This is the very bottom of their page. So you've seen everything else kind of in order, and here we have the very bottom of the page. You see their footer is down here, and also you can see that Unilever, which is a pretty major company, is involved. Anyways, okay. Not just involved, they own it. Interesting. I probably would have put that up higher too. I think I would have liked that under the credibility aspect. Anyways, so at the very bottom of their page, this get involved. So here, I think is a way that you can go and you can find out how you can partner with them. That's not the primary thing this site is for. It seems like this is more a selling products and letting you know about the company website. And this has mostly been about explaining this particular business and their business model. But if you do want to get involved, they're not going to put it here. Again, that might seem kind of, I don't know, greedy or inappropriate, but they'll take you to another page to look at that if you're interested. But let's look at some of the things that they had up higher. So when they were building that credibility and looking at some of these businesses, they had the Join Us. And you've seen this before also, the check out our products. And so this website has given us lots of ways to navigate to other parts of the website and to stay engaged with their brand and their business. All right, so now it is your turn to design your about page. So remember, as you're designing your about page, you will be doing this in Figma, and you will be paying attention to colors. What colors have you chosen? You'll be paying attention to the fonts that you've chosen. You will be thinking about rows, columns, visual hierarchy, making things separate, easy to see, and hitting all of those 6 points that we just talked about that would help your ideal user feel engaged with your site and make them want to continue to engage with you. So you'll find more specifics about working on the homepage when you look at the assignment that you have that talks about building your home and about page. And there's a couple videos that you can watch that talk about setting up wireframes and then going from a very sparse setup into a more developed setup of a home page or an about page. So take a look at all those different things and use your imagination. Look at lots of other websites. In fact, feel free to go find some websites that you like and use them as inspiration. What kinds of things do you see them doing in their rows. Be inspired. You don't have to recreate the wheel. Go look and see what works, and you can then implement it using your own aesthetic, your own colors, your own fonts, your own images. But you're fine to look at other websites and just look at kind of how did they structure it. All right, good luck.